So I have a 13 by 6 HD frontal wig that I constructed. I did watercolor it jet black, and I bleached the knots already. And by the way, I did no work to the hairline, so what you see is what you get. This is how my frontals come, and it's great for beginners. I braided my hair on stretched hair, so it's like an old braid out. I do not blow dry my hair for my braids anymore. Like, I just finger detangle and finger part, except for the middle part, because obviously you do want that to be defined. Can you see how I put the oil about a ½ inch back? You do not want the oil on the front of your hairline. Just make sure you moisturize your scalp, but also keep the front as clean as possible to make sure the glue can adhere. Now I know y'all heard her in the back. She's saying ooh ooh, because this wig already look good. Alright, we're gonna grab our spray. So first we're just gonna use a heat protectant, lightly mist it. Then you're gonna grab your hairspray. I use the yellow Fantasia one. It's like Mega Hold or something. Then you're gonna grab your hot comb. You wanna press this. So as you can see, I'm kind of rolling it back. You wanna make sure you roll it so that the curved part of your hot comb is touching, touching that lace. You wanna make sure you're pressing this. And I advise you do this off of your head. Because, you can't burn the mannequin, but you can definitely burn yourself. Yep. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure you press that and then repeat on the other side. Next, you see me parting the frontal, kind of doing it toward the top though. I'm not like flat, like hot combing every single section. I just want to make sure the top is flat. So you're gonna scoop off a little bit of the top, hot comb it down, and then hot comb the top over it. Alright, so you're gonna want to part the back and make like somewhat of a T-part thing, just because you don't want those tracks shown in the back. Like if the lace is laid but the tracks are showing, that's not too cute, babe. Okay, so you're only gonna grab your wax stick. Use a little bit of this. Do not use way too much. You just want a light coverage. And then we're gonna use our spray again. Spray a lot of that. Get that on there. We're gonna press this out. Yep, you might hear a few cracks, sizzles, and pops, but just keep going. Okay, but as you guys can see, my mannequin is kind of laying back just so you guys can see. But soon here, I'm gonna put it up. And you might want to make sure when you do it, you have it standing up so that it could go with gravity. And that when you press it, isn't sticking out. You want it to lay flat down. So you're going to do that. Then you're going to just go back over the top. Flatten that out. Make sure the back is all the way covered. If it isn't, you see I have to grab another piece. Just lay it back down. Alright, so I did do my ball cap method off camera. So what I did was just use the little glue across the front and then some Got2b spray and let it dry. And now I'm putting on my Ruby Kisses cream foundation. So you just want to grab like a old foundation brush or whatever you use to apply it and smear that on there. Make sure it goes across the glue line just so it covers the entire ball cap. You don't want to have like a super light patch, especially at the hairline. It's not going to blend. I couldn't see it too well, but I think I used like the number 13 or something like that. Alright, so we're gonna go in our scissors. You can either, for this video I'm using hair shears, but you can use manicure scissors as well. You're gonna cut on the side, not in the middle. You wanna cut on the side to make sure that the middle is nice and clean. So you're gonna pull it and add, pull it for some tension. You wanna be able to see exactly where you wanna cut it to get the closest cut. You see that? It's giving scalp already. So you're gonna keep cutting across, making sure it's kind of flush against your skin, but also be careful because the scissors are very sharp. Just take your time. Alright, also be careful when you cut that side. You do not want to accidentally cut a braid or, anything like that. Alright, as you can see again over here, I'm pulling it to keep that tension. But as you'll also see soon is that I'll adjust my grip, and that's fine. Just make sure you grab it. If it's not working, grab it differently. So I'll pull it again, add some more tension. Make sure I get the closest cut. All right. Now you see how I got those little legs hanging on the back? We don't want that. So what you're going to do is you're going to tie it in the back, make a little knot, and you don't see it in the video, but you should tuck it inside the cap all the way to ensure that they're not dangling out the bottom of your wig. That's not it. Not a look. Tuck it all the way in. Okay, now you're gonna do 3 layers of glue. As you see, I did not put glue all the way across my hairline because glue, in this case, we're gonna spread it. You wanna make sure you're not overusing your product, especially for me, since I do hair. I wanna be, make sure I'm not overusing my products or wasting anything. So if there's like a dry patch, obviously add a little more glue. As you can see, I'm going in a manner where I'm smearing the glue on like I'm putting butter on some toast. And I think that's the best method, especially across the front. Like from the temple to temple, you want to do it side to side. But on the sides, you can bring it forward and, just because you have that bigger corner where you're trying to smear the glue. But besides that, I think it's best to go side to side. All right, then you want to put some makeup on your wig just to ensure the lace blends well. Since this is HD lace, I only put the color on the outside lace, not on the inside, only on the outside. Typically when I do transparent lace wigs though, I put it on both sides, so keep that in mind just to be mindful of your product use. I'm then gonna spray some Got2b on it, just wave it around so it can dry up a bit. All right, it's time to get to laying. So you're gonna want to put this wig on, but kind of keep it in the middle of your head and adjust it. Look in the mirror and make sure it's centered. Okay, so you want to grab it and concentrate, guys, please. Grab it, align it with your middle, and then look upward. You see I'm looking up. That's because we all have a curvy head. We don't have no box head. We can't just lay it on flat like that. We need to make sure it kind of looks natural. So you're going to want to pull it and look upward to create a natural hairline look and not just a slapped on wig. All right, take your time adjusting to ensure that it's where you want it to be, but do not press down yet. Just try to place it lightly on top of it, because once you press down, it's really hard to, you know, remove it without taking the whole cap off. See, as you can see right here, it got a little stuck. So yeah, you just gotta take that off, tap it back down, and when you put the band on at the end, it will, you know, press down under. So that's fine. Just don't rip the whole thing off after you've pressed it on. Okay, just checking, because, you know, always double check your work. Tell me it's not giving already. Tell me it's not giving. Alright, so once you have it where you like it, you're gonna grab a comb, fine tooth, and you're gonna press the lace into your glue, combing it backwards. Obviously, that lace was bothering my lash. So as you can see, I do my hair all the time, but I'm still taking my time. So if you're a beginner, don't be discouraged. Take your time. Make sure you're getting everything right. And if you know that, you know, you haven't had experience, just cut out a nice 2 hours to do your hair. Alright, so you're gonna want to carve your ear out. You see, I took the comb in an upward direction. You want to make sure you're not going straight back. Follow the curvature of your ear and then cut the excess lace off. Be very careful as well. You do not want to cut your ear nor your hair. And you're going to see in a second how this lays seamlessly. Like, do you see that? Come on. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to want to do that side cut again like we did on the ball cap. And you're going to cut in a zigzag motion. When you're cutting, look in the mirror to make sure you're following the hairline and just to ensure that your technique is working. Consistently check and pause like I'm doing just to make sure it's looking good. And if you don't like how that's coming out in your next section, you can adjust yourself. So as you see in this one, I definitely go in increments. I pull the lace up, see how it's looking, and then I continue. You also want to follow that same technique of adding a bit of tension just to get the most flush cut you can. The closest that you can get to that hairline, that's where you want to cut it. But once you get toward the center, this is where you want to be especially mindful of how you're cutting. The part, you do not want that to be straight at all. So you're going to see I slow down for the part just to make sure every cut is, you know, making it look seamless. You do not want to see the lace nowhere but the middle. All right. Look at that. Beautiful. And I had a little flap I needed to still glue down, so I did that. And then I cut the lace off. So here we are at toward the end of our process, you're gonna want to pin your hair back. And then you're gonna grab that same hairspray we used earlier, which is that yellow Fantasia. And yes, make sure no hairs are in the way. So you're gonna grab your hairspray. You're gonna spray across the hairline. All the way across, all the way across. And it's imperative that you comb your hair back. The way you tie your hair down essentially molds how your hair is going to look. So we've done all this work to hot comb it back and mousse it back. We don't want it to be laid bogus. And then this is how it's like, you know, it looks in the final run. So we want to make sure we're just pushing the hairs back. Make sure it's going to be fire once we pull off that band. We're going to grab an elastic band and tie it. Do not tie it too tight or your head is going to pop. You're going to regret it, and it's going to be hard to take the knot out too. So make sure you don't tie the knot too tight in the back. So take it out, comb everything down. You're going to want to define your part. Make sure it's in the center. So see, yep, we're gonna define that part. And then you're gonna hot comb your hair on the top to ensure it's flat. And I advise you do this with the band on. I always do this with the band on because you can get as close to the root as you want and you have the protection of the band to not burn your forehead, you know. Just make sure all them butters are pressed. Alright, and let's see how it came out for the big day. I cut some layers into it, so you will see that. But look at that, come on. Up close and personal, up close and personal. Laid. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned a lot along the way.
That's it.